Hey, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm here with a playthrough of a game currently on Kickstarter, Wild Hunt Festival. Now, I'm not sure quite what the name means, what the festival is, but I do know what you're hunting bosses, because this is a 4-team boss battle game. You can play Wild Hunt Festival in one of two modes, story mode and challenge mode. In story mode, you start with a level 1 enemy and progress through harder level 2, level 3, and level 4 enemies while gaining items and leveling up your characters. But in challenge mode, you start already fully leveled up and go against a ridiculously tough boss just for a much quicker match. Although I will say, story mode plays very quickly as well, and speaking of that, I'm going to show you story mode, go through at least a few of the levels, maybe all 4 fights, depending on how quickly it goes. As always with our Kickstarter coverage, we receive no compensation for this, just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you want to skip past the explanation of setup or the basics of play, or jump to a specific level or encounter, use the timestamps. And if you like our content here at the One Stop Co-op Shop, listen to our weekly podcast every Sunday, join the solo and co-op conversation on our Slack and our Discord, and consider supporting us through Patreon. We have some nice perks there. So first step of setup is choosing your team, and you do have to always have 4 heroes. So if you're playing solo, you control all 4 of them, otherwise you divide them up. The prototype of the game I've been playing has 8 heroes total, so a nice mix of characters. And today I've chosen a variety of roles. We've got a Geomancer attacker, a Peddler healer, a Paladin defender, and a Treasure Hunter balance. So hopefully a nice mix of attack and defense. There's 2 full story sets of 4 bosses in my prototype, and we're going to do the one that starts with the Apostle of Disaster. And they do have little narrative stories you can follow along with each of these stories, but they haven't finished translating the one for this path yet, so we're not going to show that. You also need the battlefield board ready. This is just a piece of paper in my version, but it will be nicer. You'll need the 3 battlefield cards, and in story mode you get to pick 4 retainer cards to help you out through the entirety of your boss fights. These are kind of like Moogle-looking guys, but you can have the Miner that lets you mitigate your dice luck, the Chef that prevents negative ailments from hitting your characters, and the Captain that can cancel the battlefield effect. I tend to like a balanced approach, so I'm going to get 2 Miners, a Chef, and a Captain. You can just put them near your characters. And speaking of your characters, you set them each up the same way. You put a little marker on their max health, which here for Okla is 10. You put markers above their red and blue mana tracks. That counts as 0, so as they get on here, they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, or sometimes 5. And you'll put 1 marker below the track here, again counting as 0. This can track bonuses they get from their own powers and other characters that give them extra attack power. Now for my purposes, to conserve space, I'm just going to leave the tokens off until they actually are earned. You also have all these ailment spaces that can get tokens as you get hit with poison and darkness and those fun kind of things. The boss has similar setup. You put a token on his max health and a token to the right of his rage track, which will count up to a negative effect right here. And finally, for the battlefield, you'll need a token nearby, but we're not going to find out where it moves until we start flipping these cards. And you randomly determine who will get the first player marker first. Let's just say it's our Geomancer here. And that's it, at least for story mode. It's as quick and simple as that. So the basic idea of Wild Hunt Festival is your characters are trying to defeat the boss, get them to 0 hit points, before the boss defeats all 4 of your characters. In challenge mode, that's it, just beat them before they beat you. But in story mode, as I mentioned, you'll progress through level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4 monsters, getting stronger each time and having a limited chance to heal in between battles. That's sort of the overview of the game, but let's get into the specific phases. So begin with the battlefield. You've got these 3 cards corresponding to Sun, Moon, and Star. And at the beginning of each turn, you flip up the topmost card, so in this case we got a star. And on the first turn, that'll determine which column you're working with, and it'll have an immediate effect or an effect for the round. So for the star, it's limiting certain kind of attacks by your heroes. For the moon, it gives some free mana to the starting hero. And for the sun, it prevents evasion, basically an effect that can cancel all the boss's damage. On subsequent turns, you'll flip over the next card, and that'll say which path it goes down. So here would be the sun. And in this case, that would heal every hero 1 hit point. And obviously for the third round, you're going to know exactly what's going to happen. We would get a moon effect healing the boss. Now on the 4th round, so once we've run out of cards, we take the last card to be dealt, and that becomes the first card for the next set of 3 rounds. We randomize the other two, and again, we'll find out which way we go. So once the game gets going, you basically have full knowledge 2/3 of the time which battlefield effect will be hindering or helping your heroes for the round. After the battlefield, each of your heroes will take a turn going clockwise around the table, starting with the current first player. And each player has 3 options for what they want to do on their turn. Their first option is a basic attack. They just do 1 damage to the boss, and then they enhance once, which means they gain 1 of the mana color the boss's hit point marker is now on, in this case red. So if Suika, the Geomancer, did a basic attack, she would do 1 damage, and she would have 1 red mana built up. The second option is to take a chance on a charge attack, which uses this little chart here. You roll a d6, and the higher your result, the more options are available to you. If you roll a 2, you have to use the 2 result, but if you roll a 4 or a 6, you can use any even result on the die equal to or lower than what you rolled. So if I rolled a 6, I could choose 2, 4, or 6. If I roll a 5, same thing. I could choose 1, 3, or 5, though usually the highest one is the best. And you'll see some common symbols for the game. The little dragon head with -1, that means 1 damage to the boss. Plus blue or plus red means you gain that much mana. Then for Suika, she would give a +1 basic attack bonus to all healers. That uses the little track down here, so the healer would move their token up 1, and the next time they did a basic attack, they would get more damage for it. A character's third option, once they built up the mana for it, is to use one of their skills. Now, you'll see this one's labeled level 1, so Suika can only use this in the entire first boss battle, but in the second boss, she'll have 2 options, and again, you level up as the game goes along with more options becoming available. And you just spend the indicated amount of mana, so here would be 2 and 1, and do whatever the effect is. Here she would do 3 damage to the boss, potentially more damage based on her hit points, and then she would lose 2 health. Any of the little blood drop symbols, if it's a minus, it's hurting you. If it's a plus, it's helping you. After all 4 characters have gone, the boss has a turn, and they roll a number of d6 equal to the diamond symbols here, so if he was still on full health, he would roll 4. And you total up the value of the dice rolled, here would be an 8, and resolve the effect for that value. Most effects will hit the current first player, so you kind of pass around the damage, but some will have the red symbol and affect the entire party. So here's basic summon monster, does just 3 damage to the first player. But there's also many status effects. This little stars whirling around one is stun. That means the character will miss their next turn, and 2 damage. And this Apostle of Disaster really likes to cause paralysis, this little yellow symbol, which means you can't do the charge attack anymore, just basic attacks and skills. And after you've rolled the dice and resolved the boss's attack, you move the rage counter up 1. So from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 at the end of each turn. If it finally reaches the rage spot, you resolve their effect. So here it says the current first player reduces their hit points to 5, and then the token moves all the way back down to 0, and they start the process again. Most bosses will also have special powers when they're on certain parts of their hit point track. You'll see these squares are shaded. For the Apostle of Disaster, it means at the beginning and at the end of the fight, they can't take more than 2 damage from any single attack. You do have the retainer cards. You can use these whenever they apply, so you can rotate a die for the boss or for you by discarding it, but you only have these 4 for all 4 of your boss fights in story modes, so you have to use them carefully. If you manage to defeat a boss, you clear each character's current mana, but you get to recover that many hit points. So here, Manad would heal 4 back up to 8. Each character also gets to draw an item from the item deck. And like retainers, items are single use and they can only be used during your character's turn. And like I already mentioned, you level up after each boss fight. When you reach level 2, you'll see you'll gain a new skill and also a new bonus to your charge attacks. At level 3, you get to pick one side of a level up that will replace your skills, making them stronger and giving you a third one. And at level 4, you replace the entire charge attack chart, giving you better attack values and powers. So let's jump right in and see if we can take out the Apostle of Disaster. Now, first of all, you always want to look at how much damage the boss might cause with their attack. And generally, fewer dice are better, so here I would really love to do exactly 3 damage to get him to 2 dice, although 4 damage to get him to 3 or 5 would be fine. Let's start out with our first battlefield. We have a moon. That means the current first player is going to get a red or blue mana, their choice. Now, Suiko only has Tonko type available to her. It requires 2 red and 1 blue, so she'll go for the red. And I'll briefly review the heroes as we go. So Suika's a Geomancer, her Tonko type. If she has 2 red and 1 blue, she can do 3 damage to the boss, 5 damage if she's still at max hit points, or 4 damage if she's 7 to 9 hit points, but then she hurts herself too by doing that. Her charge attack is pretty balanced. She can sometimes do 2 damage. And she can boost healer, as we have 1 in the party. But I think she's just going to do a basic attack. So the Apostle of Disaster goes down to 25, a red space. And Suika earns a second red mana. She just needs 1 blue now to do Tonko type. Moving right around to our healer. Their 1 skill right now is Throw Holy Water, 2 red. They choose any 1 hero. That hero removes all ailments. Those are those negative things we can get. And a stun token if they have one. And recovers 3 hit points. Really nice. And looking at their charge attacks, you'll see they have this little like flexing symbol with red and blue. That's the same as what you get with a basic attack, which means you get 1 mana for the space the boss's health is currently on. Based on that, I think I might not have Monad attack, because they want red mana more, which is what it's currently on. And if they do a charge attack instead, they have a 4 out of 6 chance of getting some of that. So let's do a charge for them. It's a 5. So remember, I can choose either a 5 or a 3 result. So I guess we're not going to get any mana, because doing 2 damage is too good. The boss's Fluid Scales ability reduces the max damage to 2 for any attack, but we're still fine. So we're currently on 2 dice, but if we do 2 more damage, it'll still be 2 dice. And again, note that Monad did not get any mana. Charge attacks don't give mana unless indicated, whereas basic attacks always do. Alright, now we have Ursa, my defender. Currently can only use blue mana to do a Titan Shield. Basically, he takes the attack instead of the first player and takes 2 less damage from that attack. And a very nice consistency of damage from his charge attacks. And yeah, I think with the boss's mana currently on red, which he literally can't use except for healing at the end of the entire fight, I think taking my chance with another charge attack makes sense. Oh, another 5. So his choice are -2 or -1 and a foot symbol. That's evasion. And what that would mean is he would ignore any damage he would take from the boss for this turn. But it does not prevent any status effects the boss might cause. Since he's not the first player, that's probably not too important to get. Because looking at the boss, if we do get him to 2 dice, none of his possible rolls with 2d6s will hurt anybody except the first player. But we do have an interesting situation. If we do cause the 2 damage, then our last character can't cause 1 damage or will be in a really bad way. We'll want to do 2 or nothing. But let's take that chance anyway. So clearly our last character, Okla, who does like red mana, can do 2 damage to the boss and heal himself or herself too. So with us currently being on a red mana space and wanting either 2 damage or 1, or gosh, -4? Oh, but stuns himself. That's hilarious. Let's see what we get. Okay. Oh, and he hurts himself for 1. So this treasure hunter is clearly a little goofy. But it does mean that going to the boss turn, we're only rolling 2d6. This will be against Suika, our Geomancer. Gets an 8. So Spear of Decay, 2 damage, and she's paralyzed. Just to show that in action, it goes down at 2, and you just mark the little paralysis symbol here. This will permanently prevent her from using charge attacks until somebody heals her, which I think only Monad, our healer, has the ability to do. And then this ticks up 1. If it gets all the way to 6, the Apostle of Disaster will make the current start player go down to 5 health, although if they're already down to 5 health, it won't really have any effects, so not too dangerous. Alright, round 2, it's going to be Sun or Star. It is Star. So this symbol is a lock. In this case, it means if any of my characters charge attack this turn, they will get a 2. They don't even need to roll. You'll see that many spaces will also do that for boss attacks. And this is an unfortunate line to go down because third round, the boss is going to gain 2 extra frenzy movement on his track to get to attack us again. Monad's our new start player, and the boss is currently on a red track, so I could just get red mana with the automatic 2 charge attack, but whatever, I'll just attack for 1. So the boss goes down to 20. Monad gets a blue mana. He can't use it at all right now because he hasn't earned that skill yet, but don't forget, any mana will heal you at the end of the fight, so it's never wasted. Okay, and Ursa could do 1 damage to the boss, or do 1 damage and get a mana with a basic attack, so let's do that. I'll get it on a red spot, so we're kind of like backwards with all our mana at the moment, unfortunately. In retrospect, it probably would have been smarter to have Monad get the free mana, and then everyone else would have been kind of on the right track. You know what? Hey, we can fix it now. Let's have Okla charge for an automatic charging of mana. The boss is on a red space, so he'll get a red. And then Suika will hit him for 1 back into a 2 dice spot and get a blue mana, which is going to set her up for a nice Tonko type attack next round if she wants to use it. All right, 2d6 again. 7. Same thing, Spear of Decay. Now, bosses will often have combos. Look at the Apostle of Disaster as a hexed arrow. It's only 2 damage to the starting player, but every player that has paralysis takes 4 damage as well, which could be devastating if he kind of builds up my whole team with it. So Manad is down to 9, and also paralyzed. Wish I had gotten him some red mana. And the Apostle ticks up to 2. But don't forget, we know we're getting Sun third, which will take him up 2 more. But Sun will also stay around to be our first one next turn, which will get us some no evasion. That's not great. But then we might get lucky with one of those. So the battlefield is an immediate effect. The boss jumps up to 4. Ursa's now our start player, which is what we want because he can take the most damage. And once again, the mana is off for a basic attack. So let's have him do a charge attack and hopefully set everyone else up to get what they want. 1. So just a miss for him. No negative beyond that. Okay, but Okla can do a basic attack. That'll get him a second red mana. The boss is going down to 17. Oh, and oof, we have kind of a nasty area to get through here if our damage goes badly. But if we can get to 13 or 12, we're pretty safe. Oh, and we can assuredly, because I forgot. Suika's about to use her skill. So here we go. She's going to use 2 red and 1 blue mana. It's 3 damage to the boss. Plus 2 if she's at full hit points. Plus 1 if she has 7 to 9 hit points. She does. So that'll be 4 damage. But then she does hurt herself by 2. Let's see, is 4 too much? 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's great. Even if Manad does a damage, it still won't be a bad thing. Well, considering the boss's attack is so weak right now and that it's on a red space, I think Manad will try a charge attack. 6. 2 damage to the boss and charges twice. And that's lovely because 2 still puts it on a 1 die and on a red. So Manad is now ready to spend 2 red next turn to heal somebody 3 and get rid of their paralysis. Probably going to be Suika, my Geomancer. Yeah, that was fabulous. Made up for Ursa's bad roll earlier. All right, the level 1 boss is already almost down. The second you get him down to 0 hit points, that is it. But he's going to roll 1 die to attack us. And does get a 5, which is unfortunate because Ursa is going to be stunned next turn and lose 2 health. Unlike these other ailments, stun doesn't stick around, so they just have a separate token to market. The boss is going up to 5, which means next time he'll activate his effect. And that is pretty unfortunate. That means Okla will be the one to take it, which will bring him down to 5. Although he'll probably have already been hit by the boss for 2 or 3, so maybe it won't be so bad. All right, back to the battlefield. Because it ended on a Sun space, we automatically go back to Sun, so no one can gain an evasion effect this turn. Not that we have too many ways to do so anyway. Okla is our new first player. Let's see, could use... Oh no, can't use Thorn Seed yet. Needs 1 more red mana. And yeah, we're on that situation again where he's already on the red spot, so let's have him roll for it. Now, come on, Okla. 5. So either -2 and remove all ailments, or -1. Oh, he doesn't actually gain the mana until he's leveled up. So I guess -2. Puts the boss into a nastier 3 attack, but very close to a 1 attack. We probably don't want to go beyond 6 this turn. Suika's still paralyzed, so has little option here. She'll just attack the boss and gain a blue mana. And Manad, I think, will still carry out the plan. Spend 2 red mana to use the Throw Holy Water skill. Suika is going to recover all ailments and stun and 3 hit points. Brings her all the way back up to 9. And she's no longer paralyzed. And sadly, Ursa skips his whole turn, but the token is discarded. All right, Apostle of Disaster is on 2 dice, but is going to activate the Frenzy or Fury ability afterwards. 7. So it'll be 2 damage to Okla, and she's paralyzed. And then she's going to have her hit points reduced to 5. So the paralysis matters, but the 2 damage didn't, basically, because it went down to 5 anyway. And Suika's back to being our starting player. But let's see which battlefield effect we get. Moon. So we can't roll 3s or 6s on charge attacks this turn. We just can't choose those options. Which isn't necessarily great, because I don't know if plinking him with basic attacks so he hits us with a ton of dice is in our best interest. But yeah, I guess I'll do a basic attack. So Suika will do 1, gets her a red. And the boss is still in pretty gentle territory. Manad still can't charge anyway. So I guess he'll attack and get a blue. I think we might just have to kind of deal with the boss's attack and potentially get really hurt. I would not mind a 13 to 15 at all. 1 damage to everybody is barely anything. Ursa will get the mana he doesn't want again, doing 1 damage. And same for Okla, getting blue instead of red. Although again, it will be healing in a moment. But the boss is down to 4 life and a 4 dice attack. Which actually looking, 10 to 12 is the thing that scares me the most, so 4 dice might get us to 13 to 16 plus, which I kind of like better. 1 damage to everybody, not too bad. Poison does 1 damage to you at the beginning of each of your turns, but since we'll only have 1 more turn, that's not too bad either. So let's hope for high rolling here. What is that, a 12? No! Okay, so that would be a 2 damage to Suika. That would bring her to 7. But then Okla would be at 1, and Manad would be at 5 from the paralysis effect. Well, hey, I don't love using a retainer in the first fight. I like to save them for the tougher bosses, but here we go. Rotate any one rolled die upside down. That guy's gone. We still have our other 3. And one of these 3s just became a 4, which brings it to 13, and Venomous Slime. We each just take 1 damage. Manad's going to be our first player for the end of this fight. And this is an even better finish than it looks like, because we got the star for the last round, which means basic attacks are going to let us empower twice, get 2 mana instead of 1. And since we're about to use that to heal, that is awesome. So everyone's going to get the 2 mana except Suika, since she'll actually defeat the boss and end the battle immediately. For Manad, it'll be 2 red. For Ursa, it'll be 2 blue, a little too late. For Okla, 2 red, right to his max. And then Suika doesn't get any because, again, she's dealing the finishing blow. So the Apostle of Disaster is defeated. So we go into recovery before the next boss. Each character will discard all their mana, so Manad had 4, it gets him to max. And all ailments also go away. Ursa also 4 mana, also max. And Okla was hurting, thank God he got so much mana, 5, so he's almost back to full health. And Suika also gaining 2 health. This is great, only 1 health down for 1 hero. But the negative side is we are down a retainer card, although you have 3, so kind of 1 for each boss. We're going to draw an item card as well. Suika gets a Chappa Berry. You can use it on your turn to remove all ailment, even stun, so you would get a turn. Manad, our healer, will get a Kador Leaf, a heal for 4. I guess that's good, since he'll probably be using his healing on other people. Ursa, another Chappa Berry, great. And Okla, Fairy Dust can give themselves evade, so when they're the starting player, going to take the brunt of the damage. That is awesome. There you go, 1 boss fight in Wild Hunt Festival. Let's do 1 more to show you the variety here. And I picked this story pass so we could specifically get to the Bloodthirsty Reaper. Those Monty Python fans out here will recognize this guy. So much more health, of course, 29 max. And interestingly, if you look, compared to our last boss, tons of dice being rolled until the end. So it kind of flips how the other boss was. Look at these effects. A 1 to 3, 2 damage to everybody, and all paralyzed. So 1 die is actually terrible. 4 to 6, 1 damage to the leader, and 2 damage and paralysis to the next player in player order. 2 damage and fear, which means you can't use skills for the rest of the battle until it's healed. Monsters can give themselves bonuses. This would be attack +2 the next round, and yes, that does apply if it hits like everyone. And then like the last boss, you'll see some comboing, so tons of paralysis, but fear is the one that can have you take a ton of damage from the bone-grinding glare. Once the Reaper is down to 15 life or less, charge attacks with a roll of 5 or 6 do not get activated. That means you don't even get to pick a lower roll. They just don't happen. And a very short track here. At its Soul Hunt, the boss regains hit points equal to the amount of total mana on the starting player. So we want to, use a skill or something to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, we're going to randomize a new starting player. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, so that'll be Okla. And we do reset the battlefield. We'll be starting with Sun, which is our no evasion one. Now, let's check out what Okla wants to do to this rabbit. So happily level 2 is a pretty big upgrade. You'll see that now for Okla, 3 and 4 results on the charge table give bonuses. But even more importantly, now he can use both mana types. Time Reading Dove. For 2 blue, I choose a hero. They get rid of all mental ailments. Those are the bottom ones. Stun and gain a blue mana. So it might not be too bad here with all the fear going around. And Thorn Seed now still heals Okla for 2, but does 3 damage to the boss. I'd love to get red mana. And of course, when I hit this guy, it'll be blue. So let's go for the charge attack. 5. So I can either do 2 damage or 1 and Empower, which would be for a blue mana. But yeah, let's just go for the 2 damage, I guess. Suikin's new skill is Rikugen type. For 1 blue mana this round, you and the current starting player do not receive ailments or stun. If you know what the boss is going to do, that could be an amazingly powerful one. So yeah, I don't mind her getting blue mana. Let's have her do a basic attack. Let's go down to 26. And Manad, I think, will do the same, getting him a red mana toward Throw Healing Water. Because this guy goes down to 25, a red space. And although Ursa is my most consistent to do extra damage, I think getting a blue mana for Titan Shield is nice. His new red ability is remove all physical ailments from himself and heal 2, not bad. When I didn't show you Manad, he can heal himself for 2 and get 2 red mana. So basically set himself up for another Throw Holy Water. But yes, let's do Ursa's basic attack. And there we go. 3 dice for the boss, but again, higher seems to be better. 14. Okay, Blood Rage. Okay, 1 damage to Okla. She's paralyzed. Oh no, the Fury or Rage track goes up 1 extra, so it'll be at 2 at the end of the round. And next round, attack +2. I don't love that. All right, let's see, it'll be Moon or Star. Moon again. So once again, charge attacks can't have 3 and 6, but we'll get that extra mana turn from basic attacks next round. Suika's first. A basic attack will get her a red mana. I think that's good. So that means Manad will get a blue. I'm okay with that. Brings the boss down to 22. With the boss having +2 attack, I think Ursa might want to tank for Suika, so let's use Titan Shield. So if it's a starting player attack, which it usually will be, he'll take the damage and it'll be reduced by 2. Now I would love Okla to attack, because I forgot, he's got easy ways to remove ailments. But a 3 wouldn't activate this turn, and a 6 wouldn't. Although I guess if I rolled a 6, I'd get a 4. So yeah, let's go for the charge attack. Oh no, I can't, because he's paralyzed, so he can't heal himself from paralysis while he is paralyzed. Darn it. So basic attack is fine. It's going to get him a red mana. And the Reaper's down to 4 dice. Maybe good. All right, that's a 14. I think it'll be the same one then. So remember, Ursa's taking the attack instead of Suika. It's a 1 damage +2, so that's 3. The +2 stays. But this is going to advance immediately. So Ursa only takes 1 damage, but is paralyzed. Oh, or is he? Generally, each character has 1 condition they cannot take, and Ursa's is paralysis, so awesome. But unfortunately, this does go off, and Ursa does not absorb this. Suika has 2 mana, so the boss is going to heal too. I hate going backwards. But at least that goes away. Okay, in this round, we're getting 2 mana from basic attacks. Let's try to make those happen. And that means next round will be no 3s on charge attacks. That means Manad will be getting 2 blue. I think we'll just go down the line. Ursa 2 red. Okla 2 blue. And Suika 2 red. It's not necessarily the main thing we wanted, except for Suika. She's ready for a really heavy Tonko attack. That would be -5. Yes. So the boss is only rolling 2 dice as he attacks Manad, and he has +2 attack, so this could be bad. So, okay, just -1, and the next round attack +2. That seems to be forever. It's going to tick back up to 1. But that was actually better than 13 to 15. So Manad's down to 8 life. And we're going up to Star, so no 3s on charge attacks this turn. Which is a bummer, because a 3 would actually be wonderful for Ursa. Would do 1 damage and prevent any damage to him. So I think I'm actually going to do a basic attack. That'll give him a blue mana again. Remember, once we're in the gray, we can't do charge rolls of 5 or 6, which probably means a lot of basic attacks and skills. So let's see. Okla could use Time Reading Dove. But nobody's stunned, and yeah, nobody has any mental ailments, only physical, so I think I'll build up to Thorn Seed. A basic attack will get him a red. Down to 17. Here's the thing, I don't think I need to use Tonko type yet. It's probably better to use it like next round, when the boss is kind of in their more difficult to injure place. Could do a charge attack and hope to get a 4, 5, or 6, since 3 doesn't do anything. Yeah, let's try that, because even if I miss, Manad will get the kind of mana he wants. 2. So that's just +1. Oh, man. I should have looked at that more carefully, so that does nothing for me. And wait, how did I have this backwards? Manad wants red, and he's going to get blue. Well, let's have him do a charge attack, too. Why not? 5? So I can't choose a 3, so I have to either do 2 damage or nothing. So, going to be 2 damage. All right, so 4 dice. See what you're doing to Ursa. 7, 10, 15. Blood Rage again. Oh, but Ursa can't be paralyzed, so it's just 3 damage. That's not too bad. But this does bump up twice, and still +2 attack. So Ursa's down to 8. And passing it on to Okla. All right, let's see which effect comes for us. Moon, so the boss will definitely do a 10 this round. And oh, we love that. That's just going to be 3 damage. Not too bad at all. Now, what we don't love is that the boss is about to do their power again. And Okla has 4 mana. Wish you could use Thorn Seed, but I guess instead might as well use Time Reading Dove. It'll basically be like doing 2 damage to the boss because he won't get it back. So I choose 1 here. They remove all mental ailments and stun. We don't have any of that, so pretty much we're just getting blue mana. And Ursa's probably the best one to use that. Now this is a turn to hit the boss hard because that'll put him in some dangerous territory, but since we know he's going to do a 10, that won't be too bad. So let's do Tonko type. Suika will damage herself 2, but she's doing 3 + 2 for having full hit points before she did that. 5 damage. All the way down to 10. And now we'll just do a basic attack that'll get him a red for Throw Holy Water, because clearly we'll probably need some healing soon. And should Ursa take the attack for Okla? or just do 1 damage. His best attack opportunities are at 5 and 6 charge, but the boss is totally ignoring those right now. But he's also really hurt, so let's actually just get the blue mana and do a damage. Alright, Bloodthirsty Reaper, no need to roll, gets a 10 automatically, so that's a 1 + 2, 3 damage to Okla, and keeps the +2 bonus. He's down to 5, and then because Okla had 2 red mana, he's back up to 10, darn it. Oh, I forgot this was the next effect. The hero with the lowest hit points heals 3 hit points. So congrats, Okla, you're up to 8. Those will be on Sun next time, which is going to be no evasion. Okay, if Suika does a basic attack, she can get a red. I think basic's going to be basically the way we have to go. But how much more do we want to do? Let's see, if Manad and Ursa and Okla all hit, will be at 1 die, which again is the worst effects. Especially, good lord, a +2 Bloodstorm would do 4 damage to everybody. So we really want to do 2 more damage. So to that end, let's have Manad... I'd actually rather do the Mending mana on himself, I guess. Actually, I could heal Ursa, but Ursa's got a ton of mana to heal himself right now. Yeah, everyone else is pretty okay, so we'll just do Mending mana. Gives him 2 health back and 2 more red. And then Ursa will actually hit for 1 and max out blue. And Okla will hit for 1 and get to 3 red, which lets him be ready to do a Thorn Seed for 3 damage and heal 2, yes. And the important thing is we're on a 4 dice spot, should be pretty safe, and then we can try to rush, especially with Thorn Seed, to this guy's doom next round. Of course, 4 dice can roll low. Not this time, whoa. 9, 13, 18. Oh my god! Oh gosh, I should have read better. Look, it's not just fear heroes, it's also paralysis, so everyone with that is going to take 5 damage. And no, it's not 5 damage, it's 7 damage, although this is finally gone. And then this will tick up. Oof, that was ugly for Okla, down to 1 life. Oh man, there wasn't any way for me to know. I mean, well, I guess there was a way for me to know, but Fairy Dust could have given him evade and taken no damage. But speaking of evade, we're up to no evade for this round. And this could be the last round, I think. Let's see, Okla can for sure do 3 damage. I would put this guy down to 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if we each do the basic attack, he might still be alive. Maybe we want to stop on the 3 space. Let's see, first things first, let's heal Okla with Manad. That's 2 red. So Okla will not be paralyzed anymore and we'll get 3 health back. That certainly helps things. I think Ursa can absorb the boss's attacks since we don't want to attack too much with Titan Shield. Okla will go ahead and use Thorn Seed, so it's going to do 3 damage and heal him 2 more. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Suika can do the last damage. That'll get her a 3rd red mana. Not that she needs that necessarily. You guys rolling 4 dice again. Let's see, it's 17. So not Bone Grinding Glare, although that would have been beautiful because nobody has those effects right now. So instead it's Shade Slayer. Basic attacks do not deal damage next round? What? I need to pay more attention to what the bosses can do. So we need to do 3 damage with charge attacks, but 5s and 6s don't hit on charge attacks. I don't know if we have any attack abilities built up. Darn it. Let's see what the battlefield does to us. Of course, it's a moon, so we can't get a 3 on a charge attack either. All right, so, yikes. Charge attacks are almost completely taken away from us. Basic attacks can't hurt him. I mean, is it even worth doing a charge attack? Ursa would have a 1/3 chance of doing a damage and healing himself. Well, otherwise all he can do is heal himself with meditation, so let's go for it. Nope. Now I could go down to 1. Great. I guess we could just do basic attacks to get the mana for them, so Okla could just get 1 mana. But hey, let's try for the charge attack too. This is dumb. 3 again. And I can't activate 3, so she has to take 1 damage. Oh, come on. All right, now Suika only needs 1 blue mana, so a 4 would get her that. Okay, whatever. Let's try it. Or nothing. Okay, well now I definitely don't want to hurt him, because otherwise he'll be off the 4 attack spot. So, what the heck. Let's heal Okla again, since he was an idiot and hurt himself. There you go. All right, boss, I'd love you to not roll that again. Let's see, 10, 16, 18, that sounds better. Yes, nothing at all. Now he's about to heal again, but basic attacks work, so clearly he is dead. The question becomes, who do we want to kill him? Okla's not going to be fully healed, but everyone else currently is. So let's definitely have Okla do 1 of the 3 attacks to get a blue mana. Suika can do another one to get a red, and Manad will finish him off. So again, they all heal, Doing really great here. Love some of the rolling I'm getting. Okla's once again 1 beneath max. Ursa recovers a ton. Thank God he didn't let the boss heal on his turn. I'm going to stop there in terms of boss battles, but let me show you what their level ups would look like for round 3. So Ursa could either get Conviction for 2 red mana, deal damage equal to the number of boss attack dice. So that could be 4 damage. Or Bare Fist Punishment, deal damage equal to the current level of the boss Rage track. And some of those go up to 5 or 6. For Okla, we can get Star-Colored Mallet, roll 2 dice and deal damage equal to the higher die. So yes, that could be 5 or 6 damage quite often. Or for much cheaper, Gold Coin of the Witch, roll 2 dice, choose one, and activate the matching charge attack. So pretty cool ability if he saves up a bunch of blue there. And Suika's a little different. She can get passive effects. While it's a moon turn, she gets -2 damage from boss attacks. Or while it's a sun turn, she gets +1 bonus. Remember, that stays around for a basic attack anytime she gains hit points. So if I had, like, Manad heal her or something. And speaking of Manad, heal the starting player 1 hit point and any hero 5, whoa! Or Fate's Helping Hand for 2 red or 2 blue. Draw 1 item card and immediately activate its effect, and then shuffle the card back into the deck. Remember, those can, like, heal you 4, get rid of all of your negative instances. Not bad. So that is a bit of Wild Hunt Festival currently on Kickstarter. You saw 2 of the 4 bosses down 1 of the story paths. You have an entire other set of 4 bosses, plus 4 challenge bosses that are super difficult and you just jump into fully powered. I hope you enjoyed this one and watch my review if you want to hear my thoughts on the game. Good gaming, and we'll see you at the next stop.